What does Carpe Diem mean?
Carpe Diem means seize the day in Latin. And we are truly a place where we want people to come and seize the day.
What is Carpe Diem Farms?
Well, we started 14 years ago. I started a foundation with a vision to empower individuals through life changes to see the opportunities and possibilities that abound. And our goal was to create a place where people could come and learn to stop and smell the roses again, where they could listen and tap into that still small voice. And we spent 6 years looking for a property. We're an educational foundation, 501c3, and so it took us a while to find a place and then get funding to be able to buy a place. And we closed on the farm in 1997. August the 15th of 1997, so we're coming up on our 8th anniversary of being here. And what we do is work with all of the children in Macon County, many who are in after-school programs, and through support our students, SOS, which is part of Macon County Program for Progress. And this summer we're working with 250 children from the Macon County School System's Adventure Camp. And those children come out and learn leadership skills and life skills using the horse as the medium. Horses have an incredible way of helping us tap into who we are, and they don't have any secrets, but they're good to tell secrets too. And they have huge hearts, and they just want to help us learn. I work with adults as well. We do a program called In the Company of Horses, Learning Their Language, where I teach people you don't have to have riding skills. It's about being in partnership and learning how to dance with a horse. And we do activities in the round pen where the horse will answer questions for you and teach you how to tap into your soul.
I'm interested. I've met a couple of people already who volunteer here. They vacation and spend their time here in the summer. Could you talk about that a little?
Well, this has been a project that has totally been done by volunteers. There's been no paid staff in all of the years that we've been here, except for in the last year we've had a wonderful fellow from Mexico who's come to work with us, and otherwise it's all been volunteers. And we've cleaned the property. This was a asphalt plant at one point in time, and it had been in foreclosure, and then somebody else had bought it, and the job was too big for them to clean it up. And so we started working on cleaning it up, and every year we have something called boot camp, where volunteers come from all around the Southeast, camp out, stay at our lodge, and help us build buildings, paint buildings. Everything that was here really needed to be bulldozed, but instead we've renovated it all. Because we are a nonprofit and because we're all volunteers, we do an annual fundraiser that's called Be a Star for a Child. And the local community, the artists, the stores, people have just supported us tremendously in helping support the children's program. Many of the children are from the at-risk population that otherwise couldn't come and have this kind of experience. In the adventure camp alone, 42% of the children are totally scholarshiped. We're open to the public, and we love it when people come out and want to walk in the creeks and go to the waterfall and pack a picnic lunch. The herd of horses, when we're not working with them, walk the property freely, and they love to have people just come out, and they accept people as if they are part of the herd. And I tell them it's kind of like Lion Country Safari, but you don't have to drive in a car, you walk and the horses come see you.
There are trails, or they're like marks?
There are all kinds of trails. We're still working on them. Gracie's laughing at us. We have about 25 miles of trails. The property is totally surrounded by national forest. And I'm sad to say that we haven't had a crew yet since the hurricane last year be able to come out and clear the trails again. But you can walk, you just can't ride a horse on them. We're not a public livery, so people can't come out and just rent a horse and go for a ride. But they can come out and take a private lesson and learn how to dance with them. This is Gracie. Her real registered name is Graceful Command, and she is an American Morgan. And the Morgan horses are the first American breed, and she and her son Promise are our two Morgans who are here. And she is alpha mare, which means she's in charge of the herd. People think it's a stallion or a boy who's in charge of the herd, and that's not the case. It's always a girl, and it's always the strong and powerful, and they're born that way. They don't learn to be an alpha mare. They come into the world already knowing they're an alpha. And her mother was an alpha mare, and her sister was not. And so she makes sure that the herd is safe at all times. And when you're out working with a herd, she will act like she doesn't pay attention to anything. And if they get out of her sight, she will run and find them and bring them all back. And if there's a loud bang or a storm coming, she herds them all up and they all come back into the stables. Oh, we have lots of other animals. There are 8 horses, 4 dogs, and 4 cats who call this home. Most of them have either been people's throwaways or they've just shown up. And some of them there are 2 dogs that are from an Alabama rescue place. And Charlie Brown, I call him our wise elder. And he is 28 years old, and he came to us from Tay and Tamara Brennan. And they had both Charlie Brown and Maud, his friend, who's standing in the other stall. And Charlie has all kinds of things that he teaches people. And he's also the farm guard horse. His job is to guard the property at night. And if you keep him in a stall, he opens the door himself and he just goes on duty, and he spends all evening walking around the farm and making sure we're safe. Takes the job very, very seriously. And his friend, Maud, is over here. She's busy eating. She has a foot injury right now, and we're waiting for the vet to come. And Maud is a Percheron Arabian cross. We call her our big boned girl. And we teach children how to vault. She does a whole lot of trust building. And she's like riding a couch. So kids feel real safe and secure on her. And she's also a very big-hearted horse. And so those children who have great fears, she and Charlie Brown help them overcome those fears. And Gracie's son is right here. And we're not going to let him out of his stall, but maybe we can get you closer to him. Yeah, and Promise is a Morgan, and his dad is a 4-time world champion. His father is down in Gainesville, Florida, and Promise is our official greeter. If you ever come to the farm for a visit and the horses are outside, he'll come running up through the pasture to greet you. And that's the job he's taken on. He's in training right now, so nobody's riding him yet, but he is just a beautiful boy.
You gonna come see me?
Probably. He loves to have his picture taken. And we compost all of the manure. We have mountains of it. Each of these are different stages. The one here on the end is the newest that we're just beginning.
Looks new.
And looks new. It hasn't been turned at all. It's just what we add to every day. The next one actually is closest to being ready, and at the far end we have 2 piles that are done, but the 2 that you see here are mid-stage. They will be turned probably 2 more times.
So how long does it take to go from the horse to compost?
About 6 months. Believe it or not, there's a special scale test that you do for compost, and it rates a 9 out of a 9, and so it's just like gold. It's wonderful stuff, and the landscapers all just take it in dump truck loads, so it's just really fabulous. And it helps fund the children's program. It's a project of the children, and we work with them to test it, and so they learn about composting, and it's just one more piece of our educational process that we do with children. We do a fabulous arts and crafts program for them, and we do a nature program, tree identification, scavenger hunts, and just try to get them back out in nature. My sense is they spend too much time in front of a television, so we want them to be out and learn to play and run and jump in the creeks and have that kind of fun. We can walk from here down to the stables and come out at that end. And if you walk in the other direction, there's several waterfalls. The headwaters of Buck Creek begin about a mile upstream.
Really?
And lodged itself right there. So we got to cut to clear the path so people don't have to walk over.
We went ahead and cut this out right here.
This is fabulous.
I mean, the only thing you got to do is...
Could you tell me who this is and what you're doing here?
This is Danny
Messer.
Messer. He's known as Possum. And he has just come with a crew today and volunteered their time, energy, and expertise and taken down 2 trees that had fallen over during the hurricane. We lost our bridge that takes us to our waterfall. So everybody who's come this year has had to roll up their pants or not get to the waterfall. And now we have the beginnings of a bridge because the 2 trees were in a perfect place to drop them and create a new bridge base. And one of our volunteers who's here from Florida, he and his son are going to complete the bridge before they leave on Friday. And so we'll be back in business and folks can come and hike and go right to the waterfall.
And what's Possum's company?
Possum is Out on a Limb Tree Service. And Possum is one of our unsung heroes of Carpe Diem.
Why is that?
We try to make sure, you know, because they can't afford a lot of stuff in here, and we try to make sure, you know, that we can help them out. I mean, it ain't all about making money when you got kids running around.
This is Joy headed our way. She showed up on the farm 9 years ago, or 8 years ago when we first came. And Deadeye's Barn has been a 3-year work in progress, but when we first started, Deadeye Potts sent a crew out here at his expense and re-sided the building. One of our donors said that they would pay either the time or the materials, and Deadeye donated the rest. And so we named the building because we didn't have anything to give people when they made those kind of donations. So the building is called Deadeye's Barn, and we have just recently named the interior for my parents who donated all of the money to convert it to a conference center, dining hall, and catering kitchen. And so it is now the Leo and Joanne Blair Conference Center at Deadeye's Barn.
Could somebody have a meeting out here if they want?
Absolutely. We have had the Upper Colossagia Water Association recently had their board retreat here. And we have another building that we call the Lodge that can sleep 12. This is Brennan and Miracle. And they came from Southern Fur Baby Shih Tzu Rescue in Anniston, Alabama. I found them on the internet. I had another Shih Tzu that was getting to be a senior citizen, and he had a best friend who was a Yorkie who was a senior citizen and passed away. So I got Asheville Miracle. And when I read about him on the internet, he had eye problems, and I figured we could pretty well solve those. So I wasn't sure what they were, but I figured we could work on solving them. And when he got here, he was absolutely stone deaf. And nobody had picked up on the fact that he was deaf. But he's about the happiest thing that ever hit the planet. And he's a wonderful reminder of no matter what you're dealt in life, you can be happy and live a fulfilling, wonderful life.
Because when you say eye problems, I mean he's blind.
He's blind.
So he's blind and deaf.
He's blind and deaf, but you'd never ever know it. I should have named him Radar, but Miracle seemed more appropriate. And he never runs into things. When he runs and plays, he throws his legs way out so that he doesn't hit anything. And after my other Shih Tzu passed away, I looked on the rescue again and found Brennan. And the 2 of them are 2 years old, and they're just best friends. And then we have Smudge has joined us.
That's this cat over here?
This is this cat who showed up at my other house where I used to live about 9 years ago, knocked on the front door and said he needed a home. So we opened the front door and let him in. And he's been with me ever since. The dogs are on a natural food diet, and they eat raw hamburger, vegetables, a little bit of oatmeal sometimes, and chicken livers.
I think a lot of people would be surprised about dogs eating vegetables.
Absolutely. If you follow wild dogs, they get by eating grass and plants and also the kill that they make. And so in what we've done to our animals now with the food and the processed food that we've been giving them is bringing on diabetes and introducing things that dogs in the wild just don't get. So all of my dogs and cats all get a natural diet. The cats eat chicken livers and chicken, no processed canned cat food, and they're much healthier and they live much longer lives.
Oh, and your horses, what do you
The horses are on a natural food diet as well, and working on getting them totally off of grains, because one of the pieces that we're doing with our compost is making compost tea. So we are enhancing all of the pastures, and horses are foragers. Hay and grass should be 90% of their diet, and they have to be supplemented with calcium and phosphorus and all of the things that here in the mountains we don't have in the soil any longer.
Not use any pesticides or herbicides on your fields then to be able to sell the compost?
Absolutely none, and we use none in the stables. And the horses, because they get all just natural products, they don't get any chemicals of any kind. We use herbs to worm them, and if they're sick, sometimes we have to give them an antibiotic, but that would be the only thing that we would ever use on the whole place that wasn't 100% natural.
Wow, so you're a real model for a new type of relationship to the earth then.
I'm hoping so, and I'm hoping as a project, we're using the farm this year as a test product, and I'm hoping that after this, people will see exactly what we've been able to accomplish, because the fields were terrible, there was no grass growing anywhere. Oh dear.
I just caught that on film.
Oh dear. I don't know what she has.
That's a rabbit.
A baby rabbit. Oh dear, Smudge. Well, they are hunters.
So what are we going to see today? What's this program today?
Today are 25 or 30, we won't know till they get off the bus, children from the Macon County Schools Adventure Camps. And they've been in camp since the first week of June. And every week we have a different group of children, and they'll be either kindergarten through 5th graders who will be here. And we will do a program where everybody gets to ride a horse, and depending on the age of the children, if we have at least the 1st graders, we'll teach them the leadership piece. So one of the children will actually lead the rider, and then we'll teach the riders how to have better balance on a horse. They'll ride with no hands. They'll lay down, turn around, they'll do all kinds of fun things on a horse just to build their confidence. We're about learning communication skills, learning how to work through problems, and just give kids life skills. Have you ever ridden a horse before? And tell me your name.
Glenn.
Glenn? All right.
I rode a pony before.
You rode a pony before? Okay. Can you hold on right here to the front of the saddle? And we're not going to worry about the reins right now. We're going to say, to Fast and Easy, and say walk on. And we're going to ask her to walk with us. Very good. Now you want to feel the rhythm of the horse as you go. So your body kind of moves in rhythm with the horse. Now you can make a horse go where you want them to go, driving them just like an airplane. So if you hold your hands out, we're going to ask her to go straight through the middle of this. We're going to ask her to go to the red gate. And just when we get to the end of these, we're going to tip our wing over on the right side. This is right. We're going to tip our wing. And now we're going to be straight again. And we're going to ask her to walk over these X's. But we always look at the second X, not the first one, because you look where you're going, not where you've been. There she goes. That's okay if she touches it. Now we look at Raphael's red car, not the X's. Okay, now we're going to practice with those arms out, and we're going to make her go in and out of these barrels. So when we get to this first barrel, you're going to tip your wing to the right. Let's hold on to the saddle again, and let's just twist our body. Turn at the waist. Look at you. Good job. Now twist at the waist in this direction. Twisting over here. There you go. Now I'm going to twist and go all the way around in a circle. All the way around, turning, 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 turning. Keep breathing big, sitting up straight. Let's get those hands back out. Let's get some breath going.
Sandy, why do you volunteer out here?
Because of the energy that happens out here during the day when you're not only working with the horses, but when you're dealing with children and all of the energy that they bring. I personally am afraid of horses, and it has been an interesting experience for me to overcome my own fears and be a part of watching children enjoy something that they may not ever get a chance to. And it only happens out here during one season of the year, and it just helps me to grow and become more mature and strong.
And where do you live?
I live in Black Mountain currently. I used to live in Franklin.
So you come all the way from Black Mountain?
I do.
I'm Regina Day, and I've known Sue since we were children, and for years I've been coming up to Carpe Diem and bringing my children, and they've lived here for the summer. We've sometimes just come for the boot camp, where we've worked on different housing and dead eyes and painted, and each year we come up. I don't know what project we're going to do, but she always makes it fun, and you know that you're giving something to children, and that you know that you're enjoying your time here while you're volunteering. We're coming into the lodge, which provides us with a place to stay, and Sue always feeds you really good. This is for Be a Star, and it's to raise money for children to be able to come here and ride the horses and give them an experience of working with the horses they wouldn't ordinarily be able to afford. And Sue does a live auction and a silent auction. She has entertainment, and everyone is welcome.